What's good, world? It's your boy Young Deuces, and this is the time that I scam the scammers. Alright, so it was, I want to say like 2015. So I started getting into graphic design, right? And it came out of necessity, as I told you guys, part of the group Streets and Young Deuces, SNYD, depending on when you got into my music in general, right? And working as an independent, you need a couple of things. You need a logo done, you need flyers made, album covers, single covers, and everything like that, man. And so outside of working with Viper Graphics, who, again, shout out Viper Graphics, wherever you are, man, you are blessed, man. Like I said, you did a well amount of our career, so we appreciate you for everything that you did. Outside of Viper Graphics, I felt like people was trying to overcharge us, right? So I self-taught myself how to do album covers, flyers, and everything like that. Now, granted, I started off hella trash, but I did it out of necessity. I knew what I wanted. I knew the aesthetics that I was looking for. It was kind of like a mix of boom bap, like aesthetics, so like those grassroots hip hop era, but also like the pop and club, because we were a blend. If you listen to some of the music that we did.
In God we trust. If I aim my bust, young and dangerous, you can blame it on the rush.
Pills to make me feel like that. I kept it real and it's still like that. They go down, I'll be right back. Be right back. You can blame the rush. Lately I've been riding solo. If we dirty, gotta watch for popo. Yeah, and these drugs just ain't enough for the rush.
Young nigga gifted speaking scriptures now. No longer talking shit, a nigga spitting pictures now. Since I've been focused, can't a nigga catch me slipping now. My Uncle Bud like Lil Rudy, boy, you get him down. I swear to Buddha that I'm king, can you feel the vibe? The rest of winning's in my soul, you see it in my eyes. Round of applause for the nigga I'm about to be. And middle fingers to the niggas who was doubting me. See, back when I had a disc, man.
We couldn't put us in a box. One time we'll be hella conscious and, speaking about a message, and the other time we talking about turning up in the club and popping bottles, and everybody, know me in the club because my girl got a girlfriend type shit. Like, we was influenced by every coast, being from the Midwest. So I got into graphic design solely off of that, learning how to do websites and all that. I got to a point where I was getting really good at it, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was performing at South by Southwest, A3C Festival, and all those aesthetics that I was putting together for it was kind of like marketing. It was about putting together a whole rollout. So like, I started really like pushing myself to do that. So after a while, people started hitting me up like, yo, who did your flyer? Yo, who did your album cover? And I'm like, me. So remember, I got into this game, again, I think I told a bit to this story, but I got into it because I felt people was overcharging me. So when people would hit me up, I'm plugging everybody. I'm like, okay, I got you for this, I got you for that, I got you for this, you know what I'm saying? And I was making sure that I wasn't hitting people over the head, because I knew as a struggling artist, you need these graphics so that way you can compete. But it was like, if I'm blowing my budget or whatever money that I got on these graphics, then I'm not gonna have money to do all the other necessity things that I need to do in order to promote this record, this album, or whatever project. So I got to a point where, I was building a clientele. There was a weird moment where the Mime Ministry, hey, shout out to all the mimes that I rocked with. And I'm gonna throw some of the flyers in here that I did. But there was a moment where the Mime Ministry was one of my top clients. Like, I was doing so many, and I was meeting so many dope people, because there was mimes who like had the thought process of like, yo, I wanna be Iron Man, but in a mime, like they was getting hella creative, and it was really dope. And they funded a significant amount of Young Deuces during that time. So shout out to the Mime Ministry and wherever all y'all at, man. I do appreciate y'all. But building that clientele up and everything like that, like, I had like set prices, and this is where I realized I shot myself in the foot, because it was like, all right, look here, you need a flyer or album cover done, 50 bones, right? You need double side, 75. Like, that's hilarious. I was like, you want to get a website? I start off the websites at 150 bones. And, you know, based off your, you know, what you need, I really had no gauge. I was just making shit up. I would steal from a homie of mine's, Money Graphics. Wherever you at, shout out to you. But she was like hella established. So I would see her prices and I'm like, all right, she hella established. So I'm just gonna cut her prices in half. Now, granted, I wasn't picking off her clients. Like I said, her clients was her clients, but my prices were my prices, and it was half of her prices because I gauged it off of my experience. Remember, I wasn't really doing this, right? But nonetheless, like I said, I got really good at it. Like I said, I stand by my graphic work. And I got contacted randomly from this random email, right? Now, that wasn't out of the norm because I was getting contacted from a lot of people. Because after a while, my name started buzzing around, you know what I'm saying? So I get contacted by this random person. And they like, yo, we're looking to get a website done. We got this whole process and this, like, we wanted this many pages and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bet. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something different. So remember, I told you I had my set prices. But this time, I was like, I'm gonna ask them what their budget is. So I'm like, yo, hey, all right, I got you, you know what I'm saying? Sounds dope. I can definitely get this done. What type of budget are we working with here? He said $3,000 to $5,000. $3,000 to $5,000 was the range. I was doing websites for $150. I think at the most that I did, and this was me being like, doing it like a stretch. I think I paid like, I charged somebody $350 for a website, and I thought I was doing it big for the $350. This man said $3,000 to $5,000. Now, this is where Deuces' brain kicks in again. I told you, I was gauging it based off of like, all right, I know some established people doing these things, right? So okay, I need to make sure that when I do it, like I'm not as established, my prices make sense. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna hit them for the 5, even though he said that that's budget. I'm not even gonna meet them halfway. I'm gonna tell them that I can do everything with 3,500, right? So I hit him, I'm like, yo, 3,500. You know when you send something that you like, I don't know how they're gonna respond to this, right? Bro, I sent that email and I immediately had anxiety. I was like, dang, bro, they not about to hit me up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, this is me not really understanding the game, understanding that pay for a hire type of thing, because, you know, I was doing music, so I never really was in a position of that until I started doing the graphic design work. So they replied back like, bet, yeah. And then they was like, what's your payment info? Now, at most, I was getting people to give me half up front. Some people wasn't paying until the job was done. So I never really had anybody who flat out asked me, yo, what's your payment info? And I'm like, well, this is my payment info, right? But they was like, no, we want to wire it.
That's suspicious.
That's when it got really sketchy because, and again, it may be normal, I don't know, but for me, I ain't never had nobody try to wire money directly to my bank account, right? So when he said that, I said, I'm not about to give you my bank account number. I never had to give my bank account number out outside of like payroll, and I was like, this nigga is not payroll. And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, we use this website for our payroll and for our invoice purposes, so we need to put it out this way. So now my spidey senses is tingling because I'm like, they willing to pay ASAP. They was like, we gonna send you the money through Western Union, right? You go cash the money out of Western Union, and then you take the money, deposit it in your bank. We need you to send us half of that 3,500 back real quick, so that way we can take care of some other things, and then we'll give it back to you. Now, this is when I was like, that makes zero fucking sense. Because why are you gonna give me 3,500 if you need, what that 1,750? If you need 1,750, just send me 1,750. Why do I gotta drop it and then bring it back, right? So I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna do it. Because I normally ask for the half, and so I would treat that 1,750 as the half. I said, I'm gonna cash this check at the Western Union, because if it's fake, then hey, it's not gonna impact my account. Because I didn't want to deposit it into my bank account and then that money like disappears, and now I done spent that $3,500, and now I'm against it, right? So I'm like, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cash this bitch. Right? I'm gonna cash this bitch at the Western Union. I created one of those Western Union business accounts so like I can create the paper trail, because I was like, I need the paper trail because I think it was wiring it to the Western Union or something like that. So when it got deposited and I went to go get it, I got that $3,500 out. Then I put it in my account and I said, you know what? I'm gonna let this sit in my savings and I'm not going to touch it just in case if anything comes back from that Western Union, right? So I told them, I was like, sent them an email and I said, yo, all right, I cashed the money, but I need you to send me the credentials so I can log into your website, all the information, the graphic stuff. Because like I said, at this point, even though my Spidey system was up, I'm like, you know what? Hey, if they are paying me this and it is legit, I still want to do the work. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to scam nobody, but all they was like, yo, you gonna send the $1,500 back? I'm like, yeah. Send me the information though. Right? Then I'm sending you the information. I was like, yeah, once you send me the information, then I get started. I'll start the whole process and send everything back. Then they just never sent the information. So then I was like, all right, well then I'll just wire the money back to you. It's in my account. I don't want to send it to Western Union because I don't want to pay the fee. Send me your banking information so I can wire it back to you. Now, granted, I know the irony. I told them niggas I don't want to send them my banking information. Why would you send me your banking information? But I was like, at this point, I'm like, I don't trust nothing. So I took the actual, like the transcript and everything that happened to my bank and I told them about it, and it was like, well, right now everything looks up and up. The account that the money came from that went to the Western Union seems like a legit account. So just wait till you get the information back because you need all the full to kind of send it back. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm hitting them up. And, you know, this is way before Zelle and everything where it was easier. I'm just like, yo, send me the information for the website. Also, let me get this money back to you then, because I'm like, Like 3 months go by, I heard nothing from them. So I hit my bank up. I'm like, hey, that money, that's it. Like, is everything on the up and up? They're like, we haven't heard anything from it. I'm like, I'm still not touching it. 6 months go by, nothing. I'm like, hey, old bank, yo, nigga, is there something going on? Nothing. All right. 9 months go by, and then they get Christmas. So I spent that money. That money gone. That money, I think I got like a PlayStation 4 at that time. I was like, it was one of those, you know how niggas be with like you know what I'm saying? Listen here, I come from the hood, so when money get low, you start offsetting shit. So like during that time, there was multiple times that I was selling the PlayStation, buying the PlayStation, selling the PlayStation, so I think I was in between PlayStation at that time. I definitely bought a new PlayStation. I think I got 2K. Like I got my kid. I think I got him at the time a Nintendo Wii. Like bro, I spent that money. And when I look back on it, because now there's so many videos of scammers getting caught by other like people exposing scammers, I realized this Western Union scam that I didn't know that scammers do. But I was like, yo, I legit scammed the scammer. So yeah, that was the time that I scammed the scammer out of $3,500 on some legit graphic design shit.